I want to talk about a couple of young guys, first-round picks that the Saints have now brought into the fold that are going to need to be potential cornerstones of this rebuild of the roster, and it's Taliese, Fuaga, and Bryan Bresee. How do you feel about those guys? We'll start with Fuaga after his first year and their potential to be Pro Bowl-type players that are cornerstones in the next era.
Yeah, Fuaga, fantastic. What a fantastic rookie season he had. I think he might have exceeded expectations by a little bit. I mean, look, when they drafted Ryan Ramczyk, they were looking for a cornerstone, and now they found, their future cornerstone in Taliese Fuaga. Best abilities, availability. He was available pretty much the entire season. I'd have to look to see if I think he might have played in almost every game except for maybe one. Yeah, I'd have to look back at the stats, but he was effective whenever he played, and I think that that bodes well for the offensive line future-wise. I mean, and especially if Trevor Penning can continue playing better, and if everyone can just stay healthy, Hunt, to be honest with you, and they just got to find that left guard. So in terms of Fuaga, I just thought he was aggressive. The point of attack was fantastic for him last season. He did everything they asked him to do. I mean, he's only going to get better, and I think that was maybe one of their best draft picks in a very long time.
I would concur with that. I think I was skeptical of moving a college right tackle over to left tackle at the next level, but he appeared to make that transition very, very seamlessly, and I thought had a phenomenal rookie year. And I think he's a Pro Bowl type player in time in New Orleans. Now, Bresee, statistically speaking, at least, was really good at rushing the passer. Those who dive deeper into the film may say he may need to work on some things as a run stopper. But how do you feel about Bresee in the middle of that Saints defensive front?
And I think he would agree with that. He said that last offseason when I caught up with him one-on-one during training camp in California, he said the same exact thing. He's like, I need to work on my run defense. And I think that's where it's going to have to progress for him this offseason going into next year. He's gotten the pressure on quarterbacks. He's gotten in the backfield, but sometimes he goes lost in the run defense. And that's just, you can't be bad in a run game as a defensive tackle in the 3-4 system. So, he's going to have to, prove to Brandon Staley and that defensive staff that he can actually do it. Yeah, maybe they can tap even more potential out of him, which they should. He's still a young, good player, I think. In my opinion, I think he has a chance to really elevate his game under this new staff. So I think that would be the one knock on him going into this offseason and into next year is, can he make that happen in terms of his run defense? That's an important part. You've got to be able to play a little bit of run defense in that 3-4.
Who else among the very young players are you looking at to emerge and become stars? I think Rashid Shaheed fits into that bucket. I don't know how you feel about Kendre Miller. I don't know if Pete Werner fits into that bucket either. And then certainly you've got Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alontae Taylor out at corner. Like, who do you feel of the young players who are under contract for a few more years can really take a step up?
To me, and I think it once again, I'll go back to last training camp, it has to be Alontae Taylor. He's the guy that said, like, if I'm going to be paid no matter slot or, outside, I have to play like I'm the number one guy. And I think for me, I need to see it more this year. He struggled last year when he played as the one corner for them on the outside. He really did struggle. And I thought he would be very good. He struggled. He'd even tell you he struggled. And he was excited when they brought Brandon Staley on. So once again, he's another guy. I think that maybe Staley and company can just figure out a way with him, because he and Kool-Aid are going to be the 1-2 guys. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It does not matter. I think those two guys have to show me they can do it on the field. I think Alontae is probably a little frustrated that it didn't happen last year, and that's okay. The season wasn't great, but now they have a chance with a good defensive staff. I think that he is going to have that bounce back year. I think having him on the outside is going to be beneficial for him. Offensive side, I mean, look, I just want to see Chris Olave stay healthy. Man, he's gotten beaten up, man. Those concussions really are a serious thing. I just want to see him stay healthy, because I truly think he's talented. I know he's not the biggest receiver. I do think he has the talent to be, a Pro Bowler. I do think he can be an All-Pro. It all depends on the quarterback, of course. I just want to see more. I keep saying I want to see more from all these players, because they're young and they have that talent and that potential. But I think with Chris, he has all the talent in the world. Just got to stay healthy. And if he can stay healthy, he can have what he did in his rookie season and more. I just think that he's that good. Not the biggest, but I think he's that good. He's got to be a little, like, smoother. He's got to be a little more, a little conscientious and trying to find a way to stay healthy and stay on the field for this offense.
Look, you mentioned the injuries with Olave, and that's a huge piece. And if I bring Kendre Miller's name up, you're just going to talk about injuries. So if I just take injuries off the board, because we know if he's not healthy, he's not going to help. Is there a chance that he can help if he's healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kendre is good. I do think he's good. I think he got the short end of the stick under Dennis Allen. I think that was really a thing that Dennis didn't want to play him. I mean, I think Kendre he's a big bruising back. When he plays, he's good. I think that I feel like he is going to have that solid season this year. I really do. But that doesn't stop them from drafting another running back possibly. I know they got a bunch of guys on the board with Clyde and Alvin, and they do have Kendre, but I still think maybe that's a spot they might address. But yeah, I like Kendre. I do. I think he's got the talent. I think some players need that new reset button with a new coaching staff, and I think that with Kellen, I think they'll find a way. I think they'll find a way to get more out of him. I think he's good. I really do think he's good. I think maybe he had the short end of the stick last year with Dennis and that staff. So I expect him once again to have a good season.
Let's swing things all the way across to the other side of the pendulum. The Saints signed Brandin Cooks. I didn't really get the signing. I don't love the signing. What did you think of that decision to bring in a 31-year-old aging player?
The issue I have with it's not the money, Hunt. It really isn't the money because it doesn't really count against them that much. It's just if you're going to bring in another receiver, you need a big body receiver. You're just bringing in the same thing with that Rashid and Chris provide. I would have liked to see them go after someone who's 6'3", 6'4", gives them a little bit more of a possession receiver who can go across the middle. And look, I get the game today is all about speed and streaking down the sidelines and through the seams. That's fine. But they still need a possession receiver. They don't have that big body possession receiver. And it's no knock against Brandin Cooks. Look, he got what he got in terms of the contract, 2 for 13, but it really doesn't count much against his salary cap this season. And it's a veteran presence. They add a little bit of depth in case Rashid and Chris can't stay healthy. They have that guy. But once again, Brandin Cooks wasn't healthy last season. He was also dealing with an infection from a knee procedure. So can he stay on the field? Once again, we're talking about injuries, and you're talking about a 31-year-old receiver. If he gets injured, not the greatest look in the world. But look, man, it is what it is. I mean, you're not expecting this franchise to go from 5 wins to 10 or 11 wins, and maybe they surprise you and get 7 or 8 wins. But I mean, the way you look at it, it's like it is what it is. I mean, it's so cliche to say that, but I just truly don't know where they're going this year or even the year after that. It's just they're just signing, they're running it back with some guys they know, and maybe next offseason they'll have that money and that cap space to actually bring guys that are younger and that can be more productive.
Should they draft Quinn Ewers?
They draft Quinn Ewers, I'm gonna quit my job.
Why?
Yeah. If they do it 9th overall,
I'm talking middle rounds. I'm talking second or third round.
All right. Look, if they're going to go after a quarterback, I can't believe I'm going to say this, and Fletcher might be right. Jackson Dart at number 9 may not be that bad. All right? I mean, you have him, that means you'll have him for 5 years. But I would not. The only quarterback I'm moving up for is Cam Ward. And he had a lot of great things to say to Manning award ceremony last week about, the meeting with the Saints. I grew up with a Breeze and Polson fan. He watched them, in the Houston area, and he loved the Saints. And I think the Saints really like him a lot. I think he would be their only quarterback they might take in this draft. But other than that, look, Hunt, I wouldn't draft a quarterback. You're not doing it in the 9th overall, moving up to get Cam Ward. I would not touch it. I would just leave it as is, and I would just address some of your other positions. Look, the guy I like, and people don't like me saying it because it's a receiver, I like Tatoria McMillan at number 9 from Arizona. Big body receiver. I said it once again. They need somebody who's a big body receiver who can go make some contested catches. I'm a fan of him, or even Ty Warren from Penn State. I would take Tatoria McMillan at number 9. That's just me. I mean, people say you get receivers anytime, but not a receiver like that.
Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.